We got the okay. Call our meeting to order. This is a work session of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside, Park County, Ocean State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, February 15th, 2024, advertised for 7 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2024. Notice of the meeting of the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Here.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Peterson?
Here.
Thank you.
The first item for discussion is concerning the lease for the beach control concession stand. And I know that is shortly up or is up and has to be looked at and a course of action determined. So I'll turn it over to Karen, take the lead.
The lease expired in September.
Yep.
It was a 3-year lease. And so we need to put a new RFP out to see what kind of concessionaire we can get in that space where the down the shore ice cream was.
This question is for the councilor. I mean, in this lease, do we have to specify every, so we had a problem with ice cream, and last year he was selling bottled water, and he was selling, shovels and pails, and the late Mike DeMichaels came up to me and said, hey, it's not a lease, you shouldn't be selling that stuff. Does that have to be specified? In the lease, this is only ice cream and that's it.
This has been going on for maybe 10 years now, and we've had almost litigation over it, and the answer is yes. We really believe we need to specify what is going to be done at the concession stand, what's going to be sold, what items. Because the thought is to just lease it and let someone do whatever they want, sort of doesn't work. It has to be, this is what's going to be sold out of there.
Yeah, you can't say what can't be sold because that
It's not
was
gonna work.
open-ended.
Here's what can be sold out of that
Then
concession.
we have to, I don't know, was it in the last?
On the last lease, it specifically excluded alcohol and games of chance.
Yeah.
So
Okay?
that's the state law.
Okay, but then, I'm just playing devil's advocate. You put in sundries, like you can't sell suntan oil.
Let me say that.
Just say what he can sell.
We usually like to say what you can sell, is the easier way to go.
Okay, we have to put that in the RFP, right?
Put it in the RFP, and because we have vendors on the boardwalk, we have commercial people on Central, and so the thought is, it's always been focused on ice cream, quite frankly, and drinks. Water, Gatorade, whatever that is. So ice cream and that. There's no kitchen in there, so you're not going to have cooking facilities. You're not going to be selling hot dogs and hamburgers. You're not going to bring in a pizza oven and start selling pizzas.
No fireworks either.
It's it really is a shell of a building with water and electric, right, and a bathroom. So they bring in refrigeration units, I guess.
They have refrigeration units. They don't have water in there, it's electric and.
Electric and refrigeration units. So it's usually ice cream and water and whatever,
But
if you want to go retail and let them sell retail items, that's a whole different issue, and that's up to you.
Like beach toys,
Exactly.
stuff like that.
Sure.
Do they not want to come back?
No, when I spoke to them at the end of their lease, they were very interested in coming back. They were
Yeah.
hoping we could get this out. Because I guess the last time the RFP went out late, and they barely got in for Memorial Day
Yeah,
weekend.
but they've been there for a long time now. We've had some
Yeah.
issues with them back and forth, and they understand what the borough's intent is with regard to the lease of the property.
It does say under here, under the lease premises in that 1.1 section though, of this last one, it says specific
Right.
depiction, blah, 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 storage only, vending of ice cream and water on
Right.
boardwalk and beach. So it does say
Right.
that's specific.
One says, ice cream, Italian ice, water, soda, snacks, and sundries.
Right, where are you? And that's different than this one. Oh, so that's in a different section. Yeah, that's this one here then.
Sundries is the old beach
Yeah.
term. My father had it in Seaside Heights Pharmacy, big sign, sundries, you know, it's
Very broad.
whatever we can sell you, right? Sometimes, whatever we can sell you is sundries. Going back to the 50s, that was the old term, sundries. So, you know,
Ice cream, drinks.
if that's what you want, that's fine, you know. The question is, do you want to sell clothing? Do you want to sell bathing suits, beach towels, you know? That's the question. It's up to you.
It's up to the.
But you don't want to have a lease to leave it wide open, all of a sudden, you know, something's being sold and it wasn't the intent. So that's why we try and specify what we want, you know, coming out of that, property.
So what's everyone's pleasure then? Refer that to Steve's office to draw something up similar to what we had last year for target the next meeting?
I think that'd be appropriate, Mr. Mayor.
I think that's good, to let you get it going sooner
And
than
then
later.
work with the committee if any issues come up in the drafting?
You want to keep it the same then, the ice cream, Italian ice, water, soda, snacks and sundries?
We won't run ahead
You wanna
anything,
take-
do we?
No.
No.
Okay.
Do I think
No.
anything
You
away?
want to take it away. It was
Was
raised
the
by-
sundries where the issue arose last year? That-
I don't know, again, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a sundry.
Sundry, maybe you remove that.
Well, the issue came up with the competition to other
Right.
great
Yeah.
adjoining businesses or nearby businesses. So I don't know,
I mean, it's hard to define sundries. It's
It is.
very broad.
It's
term.
very
I think we made it a little bit more,
So if we took
yeah,
Sundries out,
narrow.
You can take it out and, but, you know, I don't know what they were selling, I
No, there's, you know,
I know exactly what there's, and honestly, most of their stuff, and I know what everybody's saying, most of their sales,
Too, right?
yeah, but most of it, yes, it's ice cream and water, honestly, is the bulk of their sales. And they have, you know, remember they have
Cynthia motion.
their staff going up and down the beach too with the, you know, selling all
Yeah,
that.
that's what it is.
So the definition of sundry is various items not important enough to be mentioned individually. That's the definition of sundry. Like I said, anything we can sell you. I remember my father telling me
Yeah.
that. Some what does it mean? Anything we can sell, that's a sundry. So.
and
Then we gotta take it out of there.
the issue arose last year also as to the location. They were
That became an
attempting,
issue.
remember, they were selling out of their
They had a table out. in the
table,
boardwalk,
which
yes.
we did not
No, no
allow.
tables.
And that was not at
Right.
least, so maybe
Correct.
we can again emphasize that point.
Look, it can be the same exact thing as last year, just whether you want sundries or not. Or let it, or specify something, I don't know what they were selling, or whether you specify something other than the ice cream, Italian ice, water, soda, snacks. I don't remember sundries being in there, I don't remember drafting that myself.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, it's there, on here,
It's definitely.
but I don't remember how it got there.
So we take Sundries out?
Do we want to raise?
It's up to you.
Want to raise the price?
Or define what sundries are allowed.
Or define,
Well, the price has already gone up 3% every year going through, so that can be, so it's already it started at 27,
right,
3%, 3%, so it's up to 20.
28 change, right?
Yeah.
28,644 was last year.
I'm sorry,
28,644 was last year.
all right.
And that'll be a starting point, I guess?
And we're targeting another 3-year.
Three-year lease?
I think 3, I would.
3-year lease.
28,644 plus 3% for this year.
Yeah.
Plus 3%.
If that
Yes,
was
it would,
yes,
for
but
this
it
year.
would be 3.
Yes. Yes.
And the payment's the same, right? Council?
Yes. I would keep everything the same, add 3% to the 28, Karen, what was it?
28,644.
644 plus 3%.
Right.
Start there and do the same lease, work on it, and
Mhm.
you'll decide the last minute whether you want something more than the Italian ice cream, Italian ice, water, soda, and snacks. All right?
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Have it for next meeting?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay,
That's good, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yep.
The next item is a discussion or an application for use of the Ocean County owned mobile stage, and that's for Seaside Park Volunteer Fire Department. And they had reached out to me, and I put that, I know the committee looked at it as well. And the reason that's coming up at this juncture with the date in the future concerns the level of competition from all the towns, all the charitable entities and groups that are trying to have access to those stages. We had that last year in part, and then we ended up there's the other stage worked out fine for our 125th activity, but there are only two, and they go all over the county. I believe they gave us a date as well, did they not?
June 22nd,
June
with the rain date of
22nd.
the 23rd. I have the application drafted already, so just,
So that's on the agenda, is it not, or this is it? This is the authorization?
it's on the agenda
For a
also.
resolution, just to say, go ahead with it, and I wanted everyone to be aware of it.
Yeah, because they start taking after March 1st? is that
March
right?
1 is
March
when
1 when
they
they start
And
taking.
we
start
couldn't-
stacking them, so it's kind of get in line and get yours in.
And we couldn't send this, they want the check when you send it in too, so that we couldn't do it until March 7th anyway, so.
So, Mary, the fire department's gonna have a celebration, is that what this is all about?
For the new truck.
The new
For
fire
their
truck.
new truck that's already up and running, but they wanted to have the community help them celebrate and us
So we're
celebrate.
gonna have like a fair on the, like a better word, we're gonna have stands there and music, is that what's gonna be? I guess so, we need a stand.
I don't know about the nature of I believe that a little bit, I don't know about stands. You said stands?
We have people selling stuff.
I don't think,
Yeah,
it wasn't part of the plan,
I
no.
think they just, I think they do the music and they sell beer
Yeah.
usually, and they sell commemorative mugs, right?
Yeah, that's usually the traditional thing.
Yeah.
And there's another one, but the date is not yet specified, but it's targeted. I know at the meeting just this week of the Historical Society, there was their recommendation that the town consider putting together a similar type summer fair event as Boots on the Bay last year, and that was so successful, everybody loved it. Obviously, the weather was a nice positive factor, not too hot, no rain, and that helped, but everybody spoke favorably. I know they've made that recommendation, and that too would entail use of one of the two county stages. So I know that's on for discussion and everyone's authorization also. The next item is a grant application for New Jersey fiscal year 2024 Local Recreational Improvement Grant, New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. That's listed as Resolution 22487 for consideration at the regular meeting. And different discussions had come up, and related to this issue was H on the agenda, time permitting, but I know there is a strict deadline on these grants that's coming right up. In fact, I think it's up before our next meeting. Is that?
February 27th.
Turn it over to Karen and fill in I know she's worked on it already in the other contexts, and the advantage of this particular suggestion is that the plans are already in place. We have plans, we have projected potential costs. It depends, obviously, if we get the grant, if we get any loans, other grants, but I don't know. Karen, you want?
So the local recreation grant, it comes up every year from the DCA, and so I put together this application, and the grant funding is up to $100,000. So because we have a project already ready for the improvement of the drainage and the grading at the ball field, which we also are applying for a low-interest loan, the thought behind this is if we can get a grant, that takes some of the sting out of the loan as well. So put together the package, and, with the blessing of the governing body, we'll file this with DCA and see if we can get $100,000 or something less that will go towards that project at the ball field, which we have engineer plans for. It's ready to go. We just need to bid it out.
I see no negative to this.
Pardon me?
I see no negative to proceeding with the grant application.
It's just the application, yeah. It's just the
I mean, I support the grant also. I guess I'd just like to say, based on the last session that we had when we talked about it, that until we know whether or not we're getting the loan, and I guess as a council, we're deciding we're going to proceed with that project in full or not, right? This doesn't change those next steps that still have to happen. This is just giving you access to additional grant monies,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, and this is a true grant, it's not a loan, it's a
Right.
grant.
Okay.
And it could actually be used to actually do the drainage portion of the project, independent of the loan portion,
Correct.
Is there a timeline on this, Karen?
February 27th.
No, I'm sorry, the other side. When if they will get approved, when will we get the money?
I'm not sure what the award date is.
Okay.
Is there anything else on that one then? That's on for consideration also at the regular meeting. And item D is discussion, as per the input and recommendation of bond council, it's a bond ordinance for phase 3A and 3B water main replacement project, and that's 22401 for introduction at the regular meeting as well. I don't know if anyone wants to highlight any of the background information on that. That's the USDA.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like a really big number, the 4.999 million, but this is to be able to use the remaining portion of the bond ordinance for the water line, for the water service, on Ocean Avenue between Island and Porter. So, and that amount is for $520,550.
And am I correct, it also jogs down a little, down footer? No. Money permitting, if we have sufficient money, or it's just the Ocean
It's just
Avenue?
Ocean Avenue.
Right, originally, Josh had thought we might be able to get down the street. It completes the whole loop. That's the idea of it. And the bond council had, I know, strongly recommended in terms of the interest rate that we were lucky enough to get, 1.1 or
Something.
he said we'll never see that again, so to make sure that's utilized.
And it's basically housekeeping. I mean, the original ordinance said we were going to use this towards the well 10 filtration plant, which we've abandoned that, so now we're just repurposing that money to the phase 3D water main replacement.
And anything else on that one? Item E is discussion of capital ordinance for water meters. It's listed as ordinance 2024-02 for introduction at the regular meeting. And I don't know, Karen, I know Joyce had weighed in on it as well.
Yeah, the water meters, it's coming out of the 2024 water utility capital budget. And there's about a 20 to 22 week lead time on these water meters, when we need the water meter to do the phase 3D water main replacement project. So an ordinance will take 2 readings, so if we can get these ordered by the end of March, we should have them on hand for the project, which will start in September. So
It's also worth noting that there is no impact to taxes as a result of this, nor is there an impact to taxes as a result of the previous discussion we just had on the bond ordinance, because that's against the water sewer utility.
A good point. Any other input from council? Then that too is on for, to be voted upon for first reading, the regular meeting. Item F has been on the agenda on several past occasions over the last year or so, and that's discussion of a draft ordinance to designate Second Avenue as a one-way street. It's listed as ordinance first reading 2024-03 for introduction this evening. I know we authorized the attorney to put that together as a result of several meetings in the past, and he has done so. Any other discussion?
I think it's great. It's what people have been asking for. I think it makes it a safer thing.
We have that running west,
Yes.
Yes.
correct?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Just want to make sure.
East to west, yeah.
Yes.
Councilman, I think we'll pass this, how long will it take to implement? A month, 2 months?
Well, it becomes effective. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm just saying.
What was it?
How long will
Sorry,
it take to
John.
implement?
Sorry.
How long will it take to implement? Say it gets passed on a second reading, but it takes effect immediately.
Yeah,
Okay,
we should have put, to have our public works put up signs,
okay.
so everybody knows.
Yeah, this is the first reading, right?
It's a first reading,
Yeah.
so it has to be published in the newspaper, and I don't know, probably, will it be on the first meeting in March?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make the
It'll
first
be
meeting in
first
March.
meeting, and
Then we
it's
have to publish
effective-
thereafter, right?
Yeah,
You gonna publish it?
effective with the publication of the adoption notice.
Adoption, yeah. So by the end of March or so, it'll be ready for April, let's put it that way.
It's good.
We'll have public works put the appropriate sign.
Yeah, it makes it much safer. Big time. Yeah.
Anything else from council on that one? The next item G is discussion with input from the committee to leave the state health benefits plan as other towns have been doing, and it's resolution 2024-96 for consideration at the regular meeting. And I don't know whether any input or background.
Well, in the fall, Joyce and I started meeting with healthcare broker in an effort to find ways to try and reduce overall health benefit costs. Initially, we looked at a product called a difference card, which is kind of a health reimbursement account. Seemed a little risky, and then the state health benefits plan pulled the plug on it anyway. And so our broker took our actual claims experience and brought that to the Central Jersey Health Insurance Fund. And a HIF is just like a JIF, self-insured. There's 8 HIFs in the state. And based on our good claims experience, we're qualified to join the HIF. And their rates are better than the state health benefits plan. They're more solvent than the state health benefits plan, which has lost $4 million since 2021. So the town, not only the town save money, but our employees who are purchasing their health benefits through the town, because they pay a share based on their salary, they'll save some money as well.
The deductibles are a little smaller in this plan, right?
So we currently offer 3 plans through a Blue Cross product, and we'll get those same 3 plans, only it'll be through Aetna. So people now who have a Horizon Direct 10, which is a $10 copay, they'll move to an Aetna 10, $10 copay. Same thing for Horizon 15 and Aetna 15. And we have an equal to or better letter from the HIF, which basically says that these benefits are equal to or better than what you already have. So the biggest change that I see is that A, everyone will pay less, and B, instead of it being a Blue Cross product, it'll be an Aetna product. And Aetna has a robust network in this area. Retirees in the state health benefits plan are automatically shifted to an Aetna Medicare Advantage plan, so they've already moved people into Aetna. So, and there is a provision, like a continuation of care, if you have a medical condition that requires continuation of care, let's say pregnancy, and your doctor's not in Aetna, then you can remain with your doctor through your critical medical issue, so.
So our specialty account is the same thing with the cheapest price.
It's a decent savings.
Yeah,
It's a decent savings.
A different
Same thing.
it's Aetna, it's not Blue Cross, and it's less expensive, and overall, for all the employees annualized, we could save about $90,000 a year.
Yeah.
And not have the risk of it not continuing to increase at the rate that the state health plan. That's the part that, it's not just the dollars in year, it's the outer year projections of what they were going to go to and the
Yes.
percent that they've been increasing over time. So their history, I was trying to look at that, what you told us their history of increases were, but, I mean, insignificant compared to what the state increases.
Yes.
And that's the key. At least that was the key for me, and the fact what you just added at the end, that anybody who's in plan now, and if they have anything that they are receiving care for, there's an option for them not to have to change their doctors in the middle of some critical incident.
Yeah.
If somebody has long-term issues, they would work with them individually so that, their privacy was protected, and that they would work to get them to be in plant during that duration, which I thought was an exceptional thing. That was my biggest concern, really.
And another difference with the Central Jersey HIF is that, premium, after the third year, your premium is based on your actual claims experience. So in the state health benefits plan, they treat everybody the same. So whether you're in Newark or Camden or Seaside Park, everyone gets treated the same. After 3 years, they'll review our actual claims experience, and if it's better than the norm, we can get up to a 2.5%, dividend. And of course, if it's worse than the norm, then it can go up an extra, up to 2.5%.
Again,
So,
so we're gonna have everybody out running 2 miles a day, Karen?
we have a very young workforce.
Just you, Jay.
Okay, I'll take it on, brother. So we have Karen, you signed a contract with him, is that how it works?
Well, there's a resolution offered tonight, 2 of them actually. One is to leave the state health benefits plan because they require a 60-day notice, and one is to join the HIF because they require a 60-day notice. So the target date is May the 1st, and between now and May the 1st, we're going to have flyers made up, announcements, employee meetings, and all that will take place between now and May the 1st.
Okay, come December, can they, this new, we're raising our prices? Okay, now you can't, we got a contract there.
This contract will go May 1 to December 31st of
So
2024.
it's every year.
Right.
Okay.
Anything else from council on that one? The item H, I had put on time permitting, and obviously that's no definitive determination needs to be made this evening, but general ongoing discussion, I think is appropriate, and that this arose as a result of the grant application that was being considered that we just did discuss, and we had the kind gift, really, of services from a local resident architect who prepared a plan based on input from the public and the governing body previously as to potential public uses plans for the former Park Central site. And that plan, I think that was explained on the easel on the board, and everyone looked at it, and thereafter, he had worked with submitting a proposal from a contractor that he had familiarity with, and the proposal came in as, unfortunately, anybody dealing with public entities, municipalities, it was always, they're always higher than what you'd expect, and this one came in considerably higher. So, as such, the council, I think, needs to look at it. I know the committee already has been looking at various options. What sounds positive about that particular plan, whether it could be done in increments. I know that was a very good suggestion. I already saw from at least one council member, Gina had a good point there, whether we can have a part of a working arrangement or use of the facility each year as we move forward, devoting certain new accoutrements, new uses as you move on. So anything and everything, I think, is up for discussion. So that's kind of, I know it's Marty's committee and.
Yes, Mayor, just a suggestion, if we move forward, if we were to move forward with the plantings around the fence area and possibly looking into pricing on a concrete pad and see if we can outsource a company that produces sheds, and maybe we were to get a price on 8 individual units that we can put together and try to get the market and leave the lawn for this, at this point, and possibly putting in the garden area that's to the north of the property, since that utilizes a lot of the material which is already being stored in the borough, which is the boulders at the marina. And then we can put that butterfly garden area in. We'll try to do all that at Look-in's house with volunteers.
When you say garden, that's the butterfly garden plus a more traditional garden, both are together, or?
Well, the south area has the boulders with the butterfly garden. The other area and the native garden was the one in the corner.
Okay.
the corner of the property more towards Central Avenue. There were two separate gardens.
Okay.
Species would be different of plantings. There's only an option, going throwing suggestions out there.
How feasible would it be, or practical? Maybe too hot, but I don't, our committee from last year, which was Council President DeMichael, myself, and we met with the school board, and there was a lot of favorable comments toward putting a bocce ball court, if that's the right word, in this area. We even had some specs for different dimensions, different sizes, estimates. Is that something that we could use to modify the existing plan, or would that contradict it, take away from its ultimate goal? I don't know.
Well, my own suggestion is if we wanted to put bocce ball, I would place that at the Boy Scout building personally. Since you have the building there, you can type of use. I don't know how that would be incorporated in here if we wanted to open this area up for seminars or anything.
Yeah, no, it may be tight quarters.
Recreation areas.
That's just my input on that. And we did
Anyone
have
else?
bocce ball at one point at the water tower on Decatur.
We did.
That's
Yeah.
where it was originally located. I don't know what they,
About that.
yeah, I don't know what, yeah, I don't know, that was not used or utilized. I think it's a great idea, but I would prefer it if the Boy Scout building, personally, if you ask me where to put it.
Yeah,
That kind of ties in with the community center. They're
Yeah.
saying, you're in the community center, play bocce ball,
Yeah.
you want to get something to drink and.
Yeah,
You got a bathroom there?
Bathroom, air conditioning, that kind of ties
it's
in.
fairly simple to put one in.
Yeah.
It's not a difficult item to build.
Yeah, you can
That could be
store,
done in-house.
and you can store the bocce ball, people bring their own, you can, yeah, Yeah.
That's a very simple project.
that's
That could be
probably,
done in-house.
yeah.
I would even volunteer my services for that.
I'll play.
You might have said this too when you're saying about volunteers, and I don't want to turn around and point to anybody, but we always have the beautification committee and the garden clubs and all of that, so I would suggest that we tap into some of them too, as, this could be areas that they want to do those
Well, that's
gardens.
why we've been waiting
because-
for input.
Yeah.
That's why we've been putting this out.
But I don't think we've had any session really where we've asked for input other than that one reading. Like when we presented it, I think we
There was
probably
nothing
have to have a
since.
formal,
There's nothing said since.
huh?
Yeah.
There was no input since.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, but I think we can set up a session specifically to get that input. Like maybe we have to have a public session to get the input on
That's why we
who can
put it-
volunteer and who would be interested in helping. I like doing it in increments because I just think it's overwhelming and we end up spending, with all due respect, half of the money on engineers and not on the actual product.
I agree.
And it's getting,
Well,
that's
slow is
what's killing
good.
us.
Yeah, slow is good because then you realize what you might want next. As
Like,
opposed
see
to
if it gets
starting
used
out
and-
with everything.
Yeah. I'd be happy to help.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
it's a plan. We impose on Marty and his engineering abilities.
Well, we'll look into options.
Yeah.
Nothing firmed up, obviously. We'll look into something to get this thing going. I realized the cost was up there, but
Yeah.
we had to get cost to see where we're at.
This is something, sure.
Anything else on that from council?
Mr. Mayor, on this park, is there a limit how much money we want to spend on it? It's 1 hour, so we won't spend 900,000 that we got. 1 hour, so we won't do that.
We were looking for a basic budget.
Need a basic budget, yeah. Okay, and I'm sure with Gina, every year we do a little bit. Yeah, okay, I'll work with that.
Anyone else on council for work session items? The only one, I had talked briefly to Jenna, and then I talked to our attorney. It's one resolution on the agenda that I just needed some more background information. I got some from Jenna, and I don't know which number. It's payment back to a bank. I think it's,
I think it's 94 year,
is it 94? 94, the tax overpayments, and I know there was some difficulty and Joyce unfortunately lost her dad during that time frame. She was in Texas and there was who had the codes and I think our auditor congratulated us because no one had, I didn't, none of us did, but I think that may have contributed to what happened.
Yes, it was right when Annie went out sick and Joyce, like you mentioned, her dad passed away. And so a bank paid us taxes on a property like 3 or 4 times in a row because it didn't get posted. So they paid us, they didn't see it posted, so they paid us again. And they didn't see it posted, so they paid us again. And so they overpaid us 3 or 4 times.
Like 26,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
26,846.
so
And then
you have to refund them that money.
Multiple properties.
It sounds like many.
Multiple properties, why wouldn't it just carry forward for the next quarters? Why don't they get a refund?
I just would prefer, I don't know everyone's thoughts on it, I defer to our attorney, I don't know.
I have to.
Got a little more information.
But what if they sold it in that time or
They
something?
haven't.
No. Oh,
That
it's all already
That's
sold.
a good point.
Oh.
Get credit
Why doesn't it go forward?
or give them the
I don't
option.
know, I'm not,
If you really look at
Balance my
the statute,
checkbook,
I haven't
don't
done it
ask
in a long time, I'm not a taxer, I remember way back when, your taxes are actually due January, but you're allowed to pay it over the 4 quarters. So I don't know why it just wouldn't roll over to count for the next quarter. Why refund?
Yeah.
I don't, I'm not a tax attorney, I'm not an expert in tax, I'm telling you, but
That's a good point.
I don't know why it doesn't get a credit and go to the next quarter, why is it being refunded? I don't understand that. We have to ask our tax collector, why wouldn't it roll over to the next quarter?
There's people that pay their whole property taxes at one time.
Well, technically, I remember researching it once, I think, I don't have the statute, I don't have to start doing it now. I remember for some reason, I think technically the real estate taxes are due in January, whatever the date is, in the beginning of the year, but they allow you to pay it quarterly.
Yes.
It's that simple. And that's why you don't pay it on that quarter, you get late assessments.
You're correct.
So I don't know why, when technically it is all due in January, why are we refunding if they paid an extra quarter or 2? Why doesn't it just roll over and it's paid for the next quarter? I just throw that out, that's all.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't understand why we're giving it back.
Plus he gives
My
them,
taxes, they're gonna have to pay anything. Doesn't make sense.
plus he gives them the cash flow.
Doesn't make sense. Well, they might have an escrow problem, that's their problem. They paid it. Okay.
You don't have to pay it next time we pay it.
Yeah, I just
So then what do we do? We table that for a while?
suggest you pull it.
Okay.
I'd like to receive more information, just to be sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we're going to table 2024.
It's 94.
I'm looking for 94.
Anything else from council on work session? If not, I'll go into the audience if there are any public comments on any work session items. If you have them, if you could give your name and address to the mic. Edie?
Steve Giuliano, 249 Street. I would like to say I'd be more than happy to help build the bocce ball court.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Did he steal your thunder, Edie? No?
Were you gonna build a bocce court?
You're going to be building?
Edie Plank, 4811 Avenue. My question revolves around the grant application that is designated toward ball fields, correct? Then how does it get mixed up in the discussion about what to do with the Park Central?
They're two separate.
They're 2 separate items.
Not related.
I thought I heard that the money could maybe be used for, okay, so let's move right on to Park Central. Are you talking about the plan that, I was not at the meeting, I will admit that, to build little kiosks where people can sell stuff? Is that what we're talking about?
And seating and gardens and galleries.
Teaching.
Yeah.
How realistic is it that people are gonna wanna come and sell things? And I refer back to the whole discussion about sundries. are you gonna, if you go ahead with this, are you gonna limit what people can sell so it's not conflicting with what businesses in town sell?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My second point is, the beautification committee already has a butterfly garden. And I think Gina's idea needs to be moved forward, that there needs to be a discussion with the public as far as what the plan is and what people think about that plan, and, because I don't know what the attendance was at the night when the plan was originally mentioned, like I said, I was not there. And get some input and see if people think that having these kiosks is a good idea, or would they rather have a bocce ball court there, or maybe not bocce ball, maybe, I don't know, a horse show, I don't know, but I really encourage you to have a meeting to get public input. I think that's one thing that, I don't know, many residents, I'll say a number of residents feel needs to happen on several subjects. We talked about the one about the ball field, maybe having a meeting about that and having a meeting about this, just to get a beat on where the residents are before you spend your money. Thank you.
Any other public comments? June?
June Korzinski, 114H. I was at that meeting where we discussed Park Central. And as I remember, there were a lot of people that were not really impressed with that. And they wanted something that would be more local people centered, like bocce court or something like that. So that was just my memory of that.
June, when you say local people, though, what do you mean when you
I
say
mean-
that, like local people centered? Because why would you not use what's proposed?
What I'm thinking, kiosks are going to be people outside of Seaside Park coming in to sell things, okay? Right?
Yeah, it could be.
And maybe they would be one day a week or on the weekends. It would not be a 7-day or a 5-day a week, okay? So I'm thinking a bocce court or a shuffleboard or, God forbid, a pickleball.
You know, I'm so pushing for the skate park. Since everybody's talking bocce, I'm gonna throw my thing in the ring too.
Right.
I think that would interest the people who live here all the time more than going and buying tchotchkes.
Sundries.
I like sundries.
Yeah.
I like sundries.
Okay.
Maybe.
Fay Herring, 21 High Street. This is related, but maybe not related. Patch, I think it was Patch or the Lavalette had that we took a loan out for construction. And when the actual bid came in, it was over $100,000 less than what we had taken out as a loan. What happens to that money?
What kind of loan?
For what
The
project are you talking about?
Yeah, I left the paper at home, so I don't know, but I'm just saying, if you have, you put
It
in,
wasn't a loan, though.
and gotten a loan for whatever project,
Capital improvement. No.
and it comes down under budget, under the loan amount, what happens to that money?
So I think maybe the project you might be referring to is the Decatur Ave Water Tower rehab.
Okay.
So I think that we had estimated that would be like $950,000, and the price came in the $750 to $800 range. But that wasn't a loan, that was money that was already in the capital improvement fund,
Okay,
which is like a rainy day fund. That's money that we already have that we're paying out, so we didn't borrow money for that.
okay, I'll go check it out again and, you know, bring it up. But, I'm with June and trying to find things that are of interest of the people that are still here in Seaside Park and year round. I was in touch with Joe Toth about something, doing rec more for the winter type of things, some available, lectures or whatever, so that we've got a lot of seniors that are holed up for the winter, the ones that don't go south. And, sometimes we need something to do. So talking about different things to make available, you have to consider winter also.
We actually had a recreation committee meeting and talked about that very topic about
We did.
that everything that, not everything, but we've done a lot in the summertime, and that we wanted to make more formalized the recreation committee, department, we talked about calling it department, and do more things in the winter, whether those be potentially bus trips, bringing people in, as you just said. And I think we're at that point now, we're starting to build out the calendar for the year. So that's good input.
Okay, and that's the other slip my mind that I have, but anyway, okay.
Shirley?
Shirley Cressel, 700 North Bayview Avenue. If the bocce ball court were to go down by the Scout House, whatever we call it now, is it going to go in the parking lot area and do away with the parking lot?
Well, the entire lot is a parking lot, so
Right, but if
we
it's
have,
bocce
I'm
ball,
answering the question. The rear is used for storage for equipment right now that we're not utilizing. There's a lot of land there available that needs to be cleaned up.
okay, so it wouldn't go into the parking lot.
Well,
it would
the
be in that area.
entire lot around that building is a parking lot.
So you
So you would minimize,
No, just saying,
you would minimize the parking lot area.
So it wouldn't be
Well,
taking
right,
parking
part of it's storage,
spots away necessarily.
not necessarily.
Um,
If you have storage there now, if it's cleaned up, it's kind of a wash.
I still think where Park Central is would be I mean, and I wasn't at that meeting either with the sheds, but, I looked it up, and I just don't think that's a nice drive, it looks actually pretty nice right now. And I don't know if these buildings would really look that great. I mean, we talked about shuffleboard and bocce ball, and I know originally we talked about it on the school playground, but that's out. And, benches and a gazebo there maybe, and shuffleboard, because I know there's so many people that play up in Lavalette. They have groups that come and compete even. And I just think that would be a nice area. The gardens sound great. And even if we have 2 butterfly gardens, I see no problem with that. I mean, we can all have butterfly things in our yards. But I think that would be better. And I do think you need to, because you said you haven't had any more input. Well, we don't know who input to, or that you're taking input. And that seems to happen a lot. If a few people aren't here and that's the only input, and I'm curious because we talked about the ball field and how much that was going to cost, and you got a lot of input that night, and I'm wondering if you considered the input you got, or the negativity. And I think the negativity came from the price, because we're spending an awful lot of money on a lot of things. And I do agree, I talked to Jeff tonight, and, there's water, but let's take it down from a Mercedes down lower to a more affordable thing. But I do think we need a public meeting for input on a lot of these things that we've bought and are sitting there, but put it out there so everybody knows there's going to be a meeting for input on this property and this property. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Any other public comments? Yes, Joe?
Chuck Appleby, 215 10th Avenue. Whenever I travel around, I try to go to places like this. They're all around the country. Out in Washington State, they have a lot of these areas, and they all seem to have one thing in common. It's like a food truck vending with coffee and some type of food operation. And I agree not to, as we enter into this, I think trial and error is going to come about a lot. And administratively, a lot of times they just designate the parking in front, like in Park Central, where a vendor can stay and try, see how it works, and have like a little food truck type thing over time in the summer. And if it doesn't work out, you change, but you're not investing a lot, you're just doing an administrative thing with the parking for a vending truck, and they can stay in one spot. But they all seem to have some type of food, it could be a low type of food, just packaged stuff, not making a lot of smelly stuff, but just something there. But it's always associated with some type of food or things like that. So I think that incorporating that in any of the areas is always nice. It makes it more lively. People enjoy it and stuff like that. But being flexible, not installing a lot and paying a lot of money, but just allowing vendors to come in and do different things, because I think they're going to come and go until you find what works over time. Because every community is a little different. Or summertime is a time when we do this. In the winter, it has to be something indoors. So in the school, I think negotiations, talking with the school board, trying to do more with that property is a positive thing. It's just sitting there. And I think my position when I was president of the school board was give it a few years, see if it works out, and if it doesn't, have a reverter back to the town. And I still think that way. I think it was given a good shot to see how the school would work, and I do believe that the town would be best managing the school at this time.
You referenced the food vendors and the trucks. I think one of the common themes at that meeting, I don't know if you...
I wasn't there.
So, okay, one of the common themes we all agreed on, and the audience, was we didn't want to compete with the few businesses that we have, especially the food businesses. So we have to be very careful in that aspect of it.
I think whatever you put there will compete somewhat. If somebody's going to not be happy with it. But what I find is that you have to have something directly adjacent to it and stuff like that to make the whole area work. That's just.
Sometimes complementing rather than competing. I don't disagree with you. Yeah.
We have a lot of people in town. It goes up to tens of thousands of people. So it's getting them down there and being able to do it without adversely impacting the neighbors, which is always something. I don't know how loud the bocce is, but I know that paddle ball, what is it called? Pickleball is pretty loud and stuff. So you just got to balance everything out. Prepare complaints, you're going to get.
Thank you. Any other public comments on work session? Hearing none, I'd close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from the council for an adjournment and then take a brief moment before we begin the regular meeting.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Allenville, second by Councilmember Connor. Anyone opposed? Hearing no one, we'll stand adjourned, then take a few moments and then begin the regular meeting.